8 steps, 1 major shove, 1 more step, and bam, a dynasty is on the brink of collapse. By now, we should have all seen the clip of Draymond punching Poole, and while people have mixed opinions on the situation and have tried to steer the conversation towards who actually leaked the video, one thing has been made clear all over the internet. Jordan Poole or Draymond Green has to go. They can't stay on the same team. But the thing is, what Draymond has done could be a blessing in disguise for the Warriors, and here's why. When you have people like Shannon Sharp saying things like this,
I agree with KD. It's easy, Skip. I become like guys all the time. Like I said, I see it all the time, guys, huffing and puffing and you move on. It's a different ball game, Skip, when guys punch each other. Trust me, it's a different ball game. That relationship is not repairable. Now, look, and I know what Draymond says, hey, he's a professional, I'm a professional, and we're going to get past it, but that relationship will never be the same. The dynamic of that locker room won't be the same. It's not. I've been in the locker room with guys fighting, and it wasn't the same. They were both on the same side of the ball, and it wasn't the same. Because you know why? You had to choose. You roll with him or you roll with him.
And other NBA players talking about how it will ruin the team's chemistry.
I'm going to keep it 100% real. If you my teammate, I'm not thinking you coming with that energy no matter how much shit we talking. No matter what. No matter what. You my teammate. You hit me like we didn't know each other. You feel me? That ain't it.
It's clear that one has to go. Though on the surface it may seem like a hard decision, either taking away an essential piece of the team's success in Draymond Green or trading away abundant potential in Jordan Poole, or after looking at the players and what they've done for the team and what the team needs, the decision becomes a lot easier. If you look at their trade value in the league, Jordan clearly has more trade value than Draymond. Subsequently, you'll be able to get more back for him. But in this situation, it favours the Warriors to trade Draymond. First, let's look at his career and what he brings. Draymond Green, after playing all 4 years in Michigan, was drafted to the Warriors in the 2nd round with the 5th pick. And though he didn't make an immediate impact, only averaging 3 points, 3 rebounds and an assist, as the Warriors system slowly began to develop, Draymond also found his role and developed into the most effective version of himself. He's the type of player whose value is outside of scoring, similar to Dennis Rodman. For most of his career, he hasn't been able to average above 10 points, but aside from that, he's been effective in every aspect. From his 4th season, he's only averaged under 7 assists once. In terms of rebounds, from his 4th season, he's averaged 8 rebounds 4 times, 10 rebounds once, and under 7 rebounds only 3 times, as well as religiously averaging a block and 2 steals while only being 6'6". Throughout his time on the Warriors, he's achieved a multitude of achievements and accolades. In 2015, leading the charge alongside Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala, and Klay Thompson, they'd win their first championship and begin their dynasty. In 2016, he made his first All-Star appearance, though only as a reserve, and later in the year he'd helped lead the charge against OKC when come back from a 3-1 deficit. But later in the playoffs, due to some underperforming and the Draymond suspension, they would ironically lose their 3-1 lead to the Cavaliers and end up losing the title. The next season, they'd acquire arguably the greatest scorer in NBA history in Kevin Durant. Then after 2 years of being clear in a way the best team in the league and favourites every year, their reign would come to an end in the 2019 finals against the Kawhi-led Toronto Raptors. Both Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson would go down with serious injuries, leading the Toronto Raptors to win the title in 6 games and Kevin Durant leaving the team. This is where Jordan Poole comes in. That same year in the draft, the Warriors, though finishing with the 1 seed, still got a 1st round pick, and this pick turned into the pool party himself, Jordan Poole. And the next season was perfect for him. Draymond got injured and only played 40 games, and with the Warriors being utter garbage, it gave him the perfect opportunity to develop himself in the NBA system without the pressures of winning. And he did well as well. He contributed a solid 9-2-2 on just over 20 minutes a game. In 2020-21, the Warriors were horrible. As I said before, their team functions as a system, and when Klay went down, that system went down with him. As well as Draymond only playing 60 games coming back from injury, they end up 15-50. They had the worst net rating in the league, along with the worst offensive rating and the 26th ranked defensive rating. They did all this while their star player was averaging 32, 6 and 6 on some of the best shooting of his life. This season culminated in the Warriors losing the play-in game and getting the 2nd pick, which resulted in James Wiseman in the draft. This will be important later. This year, Poole only made slight improvements in less games, mainly improving his efficiency in less minutes, but he was on the right track. Strangely enough, Draymond dipped in everything except field goal percentage and assists. Fast forward to this year, and Jordan Poole exploded into basically a 20-point scorer with 4 assists and 3 rebounds. As well as he seriously contributed to the Warriors' comeback, as in the playoffs, he improved his efficiency, almost shooting 40% from 3 and 45% from the field. He also got serious minutes in the NBA Finals and seriously contributed to the Warriors winning a championship. As I said in a previous video, I had the Warriors repeating as champions this year, but it doesn't seem as though the team can stay together after this. So how do you decide who to trade? On one hand, you have 32-year-old Draymond Green. He's a defensive anchor, the heart of the team, and literally provides everything aside from scoring. He throws dimes, he locks down on defense, he's a multiple-time All-Star, steals leader, and defensive player of the year. On the other hand, you have Jordan Poole. he gives the team a secondary ball handler and another scoring threat from anywhere on the court, which is especially needed since Clay isn't back to his old self yet. He's able to create his own shot easily, as well as finish tough shots inside or from deep, and he's only 23. The two main aspects that go into deciding who to trade are age and value, and with these two factors incorporated, it only makes sense to trade Draymond. Draymond has provided value to this team for around 10 years now, but it's evident that his value on the team is declining. The simple fact he had to be benched in the pivotal moment of the NBA Finals shows he's not the same Draymond he's always been. Meanwhile, Jordan Poole's development rate, paired with how he's used on the team, shows that the team has a bright future with him. It may be tempting to keep Draymond and have another go at a championship, and realistically they could. I would still have them as my favourites even if they have to replace Poole. But the current state of the league makes repeating difficult. They got pushed to 6 by a young team in their second serious playoff run, and in that series every game was close. They only had 3 games with a differential of more than 10 points. Even with them being my favourites, I wouldn't be shocked if teams like the Clippers, the Bucks, or maybe even the Celtics or Nuggets beat them. As well as tensions being high between Green and the organisation before this, and wanting more money than the organisation was willing to give up, the Warriors weren't in the best spot, and they need to take control of their future. Right now, the Warriors are in a unique position to secure a future similar to the Lakers or the Celtics, to secure a legacy outside of the Curry age. The Warriors are one of the most well-run organizations. They've managed to construct a championship team while simultaneously constructing one of the best and dynamic young cores in the league. In trading Draymond, it would free up plenty of money to sign potentially whoever they wanted, while simultaneously forcing Curry to bear the load once again. We've seen Curry can't do it alone, and because trading Draymond would put them back in that position, they'll likely end up with a high draft pick. And coincidentally, the league has one of the greatest prospects that's ever been seen coming into the league this year. 7'5", floor spacing, shot blocking, icon, Victor Wembanyama. And theoretically, the Warriors could get him in the draft. As well as giving this year to develop the young talent of the Bucket and James Wiseman, the Warriors could have one of the most well-rounded and championship contending rosters to date. They could have Steph Curry at the 1, Klay Thompson or Jordan Poole at the 2, Jonathan Kuminga at the 3, James Wiseman at the 4, and Victor Wembanyama at the 5. That's elite. There are only 2 main issues with this. First, the lottery. The 3 worst teams equally have a 14% chance of getting the number 1 pick. So even if they get a number 2 pick, it would likely mean that Wembanyama is off the board. Either way, they'll still be able to find an elite prospect. But 2, James Wiseman is currently the team's center, and though he's been dealing with injuries, he still has top 5 center potential, and looks like the team's future big. Pairing him alongside Wembanyama, it becomes questionable if he can effectively play the 4, or if he's comfortable being a rotation player. And if he can't do that, then it will likely result in a trade for Wiseman, and that would lead to a gap at even forward positions. But looking optimistically, securing a roster like this will potentially thrust the Warriors back into a contending role just 1 or 2 years after Draymond's trade, assuming all goes right anyway. And with the oldest young player on this team being 23, he's not only had serious minutes in a successful NBA Finals series, but him and his other young co-stars have 2 of the greatest players who play in arguably the best system, mentoring them into becoming the young stars they can become, which would ultimately secure the future of the Warriors. As mentioned, trading Draymond will free up so much money to sign complementary pieces to help the team, and though keeping him could keep the Warriors in a position to repeat, since Draymond wants to leave when his contract's up anyway, I don't believe keeping Draymond and possibly compromising the future of your team is worth potentially 1 ring. But if you want to see why I think the title race is boring anyway, click this video here. If you like the video, like the video. If you don't. Subscribe if you want, and I'm done. Okay, bye.